Good day, everyone, and welcome to our latest Land Connect podcast episode. How it is going, Emma? And what's in your mind lately?
Yeah, it's going well, and I'm so happy to be here to talk about our topic today. Electric vehicles, one of the most problem that people concern.
Yeah, it is a very relevant and interesting topic. So let's dive in, shall we? So, Emma, what comes to your mind when you hear the term electric vehicles?
When I hear the term electric vehicles, I usually think of battery-powered cars, charging stations, and the global shift toward cleaner transportation. Now today, electric vehicles are closely associated with modern technology, smart features, and efforts to reduce environmental damage. However, I also have a question for you that do you think electric cars are a realistic options for ordinary people today?
I think they are becoming more realistic, but not completely yet for everyone. The prices have come down for a bit, yes, and there are more models available now, but they're still quite expensive compared to normal cars. Also, if you don't have a place to charge at home, it can be quite an inconvenient. Now, would you personally consider buying an electric vehicles in the next 5 years, Emma?
Personally, I might consider buying an electric vehicle within the next 5 years, but only if the prices continue to decrease and charging facilities become more widespread. Right now, petrol cars still feel more convenient for daily life use today. And are the electric vehicles truly environmentally friendly, or is that just good marketing?
Now, I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. On one hand, they don't produce emissions while driving, which seems good for the air in the cities. But I've heard that making the batteries and getting the electricity might not be completely clean. And so maybe it's partly the marketing. But I think overall they are probably better than traditional cars than what we have now. So, but I have a
Yeah, I
question.
agree with you.
Real. But I have another question. How significant is the role of electric vehicles in reducing the carbon emissions? Do you know?
Electric vehicles can play an important role in reducing carbon emissions, particularly in large cities with heavy traffic. However, their overall impact strongly depends on whether the electricity used comes from renewable or fossil fuel sources. Do you think producing batteries causes more environmental damage than it prevents?
That's a difficult question. Now, I don't really know the details, but I've heard that mining for materials like lithium, if I spell it correctly, a chemical used to make batteries, can harm the environment. So perhaps in the short term it causes some damage, but over time, if the cars last long and reduce emissions a lot, maybe it balances out and maybe it is worth it. But I'd like to ask you, are electric vehicles the only affordable for the wealthy at the moment?
In today's market, electric vehicles are generally more affordable for wealthier consumers. Although cheaper models exist, the price is still too high for many middle and low-income households. Yeah, that's my opinion. Will the electric vehicle completely replace the petrol cars in the future? Will they coexist?
I suppose it quite be challenging, assuming that electric vehicles will become an overwhelming trend. Traditional car companies might have to change and start making more electric models, or they could lose some businesses. And for oil companies, if fewer people need petrol, their sales would probably drop a lot. So they need to find other ways to make money. But Emma, do you think government should subsidize electric vehicles? Why or why not?
Think that I believe that the government should subsidize electric vehicles at this stage. Financial support can make them more affordable, encourage adoption, and accelerate the transitions towards sustainable transportation.
I see.
But uh, what do you think about the electric vehicles increase in equality between urban and rural areas?
Probably yes, unfortunately. In cities, there are usually more charging stations and better infrastructures, so it's easier for people there. In rural areas, however, it might be harder to find places to charge electric vehicles, and people often drive longer distances, so EVs might not be as practical, which could make it a bit unequal, to be honest. But there are more to say about the electric cars, though. Is that will electric vehicles completely replace petrol cars in the future? Or will they coexist? What do you think about this matter?
I also agree with your opinion in the last questions. And for in my perspective, in the future, the electric vehicles and petrol cars are likely coexist. The petrol vehicles are still more suitable for long distance travel in areas with weak infrastructure, while electric cars are growing mainly in urban regions.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, I think this is also the last question in our episode today. Thanks for joining us and see you next time on Land Connect.
See you, audience!